Aliens Fireteam Elite is the latest installment in a long line of games set in the Alien franchise. From the moment I first saw the trailer for this, I could see that there was a lot of potential for this to be a fun game. Now, having finished it, I can officially say that while this game is indeed a solidly well-designed game, with a few additions, this game could have been far better than what the final result ended up being. When it comes to its story from the main campaign, this is unfortunately the most lacking element of Aliens Fireteam Elite, because the main campaign is separated into just 4 missions with each mission divided into 3 sections, and each one of these sections can be completed in about 20 minutes each, which means that on the standard difficulty, this game's campaign can be completed in just under 5 hours, and from what I can tell, each mission had hardly any connection with the other that really didn't build off of each other. They have very bland objectives like recovering a scientist for one mission or exploring some research facility for another. As much of a mess as Alien Colonial Marines was, if Fireteam Elite had a story similar to that one, it would have given this game far more depth. Now when it comes to its gameplay, all this game ends up being is a third-person action-based horde shooter for up to 3 players. Now this is funny because this game actually has an official horde mode once you've completed the main campaign, but over the course of your time playing with you and 2 other players, either AI or other players online, you will move from one large area to the next fighting off multiple waves of enemies. Now there are a variety of different enemies apart from xenomorphs that you will have to fight off, but all engagements usually end up playing out the same way. There is a cover-based mechanic that can be used, but it's only really effective during one specific mission, as the fast-moving enemies make staying in one place a very bad idea. One element that is highly extensive in this game is the amount of customization that you will have access to. When it comes to the amount of weapons that you will have access to use to fight off your attackers, you will find that there is a large collection of weapons to choose from. Some weapons that you will recognize from the films like the smart gun or flamethrower, but there's also a much larger collection of assault rifles, shotguns, pistols, rocket launchers, and many other weapons to choose from. You can get these weapons by either leveling up your character or returning to your main base and buying them from a vendor. During the main campaign, after each mission, you will return to your main base and you can actually then choose to talk to the NPCs there, but mostly they never really seem to have much important things to say. They might talk a little bit more about themselves or about the mission that you just ended up completing. Now, I must say, every single part of your weapon when it comes to your customizations can be modified in one way or another, from the size of your magazine, to its muzzle, to even the color of your weapons. There are a number of consumables that you can also use that can help you fight off the multiple waves of enemies that you encounter, which include sentry turrets, mines, and even modifications to your ammunition to deal out more damage. You can even pick these up in special boxes throughout your missions or purchase them back at your home base. Now, since this is a team-based shooter, I would advise that you do play with other players online. If for some reason you can't connect with other players, the game will give you access to 2 android allies to fight alongside you, and though they are more than capable of handling themselves, it is far more enjoyable to play with other players online. As straightforward as the game's gameplay is wise, I must say that the overall level design for each mission is what I found really impressive, as there are a number of key locations that some of you will easily recognize, and once you've seen just how long some of these levels are designed to be, you will clearly see that the developers did a lot of hard work in building a strong atmosphere set in the Alien franchise. The sound design is also very well handled, with each weapon having a unique and distinctive sound. The music fits what happens on the screen, and even the enemy AI is handled quite well, and on the hardest difficulties, it actually isn't too odd to find yourself being completely overwhelmed if you don't have a strong enough team to fight off the waves of enemies that you would certainly encounter. However, this game is not perfect, and there are certainly a number of technical issues that I encountered during my playthrough of this game. I ran into multiple online connection issues which would either not allow me to connect to other players or just randomly kick me out while I was in the middle of a mission. If the action got too intense, the sound effects would even cut out completely, leaving only the music playing, and at times, as you can see from this example right here, I even ran into a series of frame rate issues that slowed down the game, and this was on the PlayStation 5. I believe that with a few updated patches, it could easily smoothen out these technical issues, but even with its imperfections, there's still quite a bit to enjoy from this game. Now, when everything is said and done, I think that Aliens Fireteam is an okay game. I mean, clearly the developers recognized what type of product they had here because they didn't dare try to sell this at a full price bargain, whether you're playing it on current gen or last gen. So I at least give the developers credit for being self-aware of, what this is. I just can't help but wonder how much better this game could have been if it just had a few additions or if it had just a little bit more. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that if you can get a few copies of this, maybe not buy, but maybe rent, and you get a couple friends together, I think that if you are a fan of the Alien franchise, you will certainly have a fun time with this game. And I think that maybe if they're tempted to get some DLC content, maybe add a few more campaign missions, and they don't charge too much, then I think that there's some certain longevity that could be given to this game. But to be fair, this is the type of game that has so little content, I would very much be surprised if anyone was playing this online a year from now. So if I had to give Aliens Fireteam Elite a rating, I think the highest I could give this is like a rental score, which at least for me would place it giving it like a 7 out of 10. There is some enjoyment to be found here. It's just seriously lacking some serious content that really could have elevated this to at least an 8 in my opinion. So those are my thoughts on Aliens Fireteam Elite. If you also somehow got your hands on a copy of this and was able to play it, I would really like to know your thoughts to share with me and everyone else in the comments down below. So, like always, I want to thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I will see you all next time.